Okay, good afternoon, folks. I hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning to you. I'll have a little talk about my accounts. We get a few more in about 5 minutes, but I did have a little hiccup yesterday. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Is that showing 10? Yes, it is, mate. Okay, so let's just try and shorten this story a little bit. So I had, my family, or my wife and daughter, had a sort of a family row with somebody, with a friend, and it was all sort of blown out of proportion, and they had to go at my wife a little bit, and I was really frustrated about it. You know, sometimes when you get something in your head and it just plays on your mind, and I was really angry yesterday. I just couldn't seem to shake it. It was playing on my mind all night, and I was just, really frustrated. So when I got onto the charts, about 30 minutes earlier. I had a phone call and I was talking on the phone and I saw a setup. Well, I saw a second entry long, 2 legs down, and I took the higher low, and it started to push up, and there is a low high there. It started to push up, and I jumped in the trade, and it got to 2 ticks, and I thought I should really be out here. I'm not focusing because I was on the phone, and it went against me $375, and I was just really flipping annoyed. I was annoyed myself. And sometimes when you're in a bad mood and something's not going right, you tend to snap at somebody. And I snapped at the market, and I just went for 2 contracts to try and get my money back. And it went against me. And I ended up blowing the 10 accounts. And I was so flipping frustrated and angry at myself. That's the first time I've revenge traded in 4 months. I was just frustrated. So I walked away from the charts. I didn't stream, obviously. I went out to the shops, bought myself I only had a little bit of single malt left, bought myself a new bottle of single malt, went out and sat in the garden, drunk half of it. And I was just trying to work out why did it happen, blah, blah, blah. And my wife came up to work, came up in the garden. We had a good chat for ages. And she said, sometimes things happen, So I put a post on the Facebook group, and I had a chat with a bunch of people and got some advice and some tips and all this sort of stuff. And a few people suggested that they use the Guardian Angel Trader. And I'm obviously aware of it because I've used it, because I've talked about it myself. Now, I didn't think I need it. And one guy messaged me and he said, look, I haven't revenge traded for ages, but I use it as a fail-safe. He said, where I live in the US, you don't need to wear a motorcycle helmet. I've been riding motorbikes for over 10 years and never come off, but I still wear a helmet just in case, that one thing goes wrong. So I spoke to a bunch of people about it, and they said it's still worth doing because, you get a moment of weakness, something goes wrong. And that's what I did. I purchased it last night. So I had an email this morning. I've sent off my user ID, my machine ID and a few other bits and pieces. So hopefully I should get a link to the software, and I'm just going to set a daily loss limit, max loss limit of maybe, $500 or $600, just in case anything ever happens. Now, I was putting things into perspective, and I thought to myself, I had 20 accounts, but I only ever trade 10 at a time. So I'm actually really not going to be any worse off, because if I'm only trading 10 at a time, it doesn't really matter whether I have 10 or I have 20 if I'm only really trading 20 at a time. Do you know what I mean? So there's a second entry short there. So we get on there. So I'm actually, so really I'm no worse off. I know it sounds a bit odd because I only ever trade 10 at a time. And if you only ever trade 10 at a time, if you've got 50 accounts, it makes no difference. So I kind of thought, well, yeah. And I had a chat with a guy who's got a Facebook group, and he asked me, why did you only trade 10? I said, well, in case anything happens with Rhythmic, we get these ghost orders. And he said, do you know what they are? And I went, well, I'm not sure. I don't know whether I've actually got any. And he said, what they are is exactly what I'm already aware of. When sometimes a trade stays open in stays open in rhythmic. It closes here, which it's supposed to, and it stays open in rhythmic. And what happens is people click close and an order opens up in rhythmic, but not everyone has rhythmic on their chart. And I think that's what they call ghost orders. And he said, honestly, I've been trading with Apex for 2 years and I've never lost an account through a software failure. So he said there's kind of no point in having 20 accounts if you're not going to trade them. So I thought, actually, he's right. So now I've only got 10. I'm actually no worse off. So, you know, let's have a look here. So this looks a bit sideways. So is this coming down or is this kind of pushing up? Let's have a look here. So we got a channel down with a break. I'm not even sure, convinced how much, whether I like this channel or not. I think I preferred it where it was, actually, as a spike in channel, which means that is an overshoot. So I'll have to keep an eye on this, but yeah, Chris, yeah, good way to think about it. It is really, even if I've got 100 counts, if I'm only trading 10 at a time, it's kind of pointless having them in a way. You're not going to be worse off. So all it means is instead of, you know, trading half of them on a trade today and trading half of them on a trade on Monday, I'll just trade all 10 on today and Monday. So now let's have a look at this. So there could be an overshoot there. I'm a bit not sure about this. Is this a bigger channel? Is this a leg and we're coming down? Kind of looks like it here, doesn't it? Okay, I think the safest option is just to do nothing at the moment. See, that to me just doesn't look right. In which case, I don't know. I'm not sure about this. Let's have a look. We miss you. Yes, I miss you too, but thanks. I appreciate it. I couldn't trade after that. I wasn't in the right frame of mind. Within half an hour, I think I sunk about 5 or 6 double singer malts. So I was in a fit state, to be fair. My wife came home, actually. I thought she was going to have a moan at me for doing it, but she gave me a hug and she was all right about it, actually. So leg and a leg. Is this going to push up? I'm not so sure about this. So there is a higher low there, but that could get trapped. It's a tough one, that, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to stay out of this because it could be a leg and a leg. Actually, I don't think it's that bad. I think this is a channel up now. We've had this channel with an overshoot. But I still want to get out of it.
Order filled.
No, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. I kind of like that one. It was there, to be fair. We'd had an overshoot there, and this was almost definitely going to trap some traders. So that weren't nice. Everything is, I got an extra tick on some of them. They're all out. There's nothing left. And also, I just noticed Thomas Wade just now has put that as a channel up as well. Channel with a break at a new low. So, hey, bud. Hey, Keith, how you doing? It could have been worse. Yeah. Do you know that the ironic thing is wherever I've blown accounts before, so the most accounts I've ever had, I'll mark this up here. The most accounts I've ever had in the past is 5. Now, when I've gone on tilt before because something's gone wrong, I'll blow one, jump straight onto the other one, blow that, jump straight onto the, and I have no control. Now, when I lost those 10 yesterday, there was no urge in the slightest to risk any of the others. Now, that for me is a plus. That means it was just one of those things. It was a bad day. Something didn't go right. I was trading really angry. Now, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Okay. I don't know if my family really watch this, but my wife and daughter went out with another a woman and her daughter, her friend, and they went out to watch a play in Birmingham in the UK. And my daughter felt a bit ill, and she had a little bit of bad stomach and a little bit of sort of sickness and diarrhea. And they were about 30 minutes late at the station. And my wife's friend had a go at them, shouted at them, embarrassed them, and that sort of put a dampener on the day. And my daughter got a bit upset. And as a protective dad, I was angry about it. And I just thought it's so unlike that woman. And I kind of expected her to phone up today and apologise, and she didn't. My wife messaged and said, I think we need to talk. And she said, is everything okay? Like there was no issue. So, sometimes something happens to your family. Nothing got physical. It was just words. But I know my daughter was really upset about it. And she was a bit in tears about it. And it just angered me. And it played on my mind all day. And to be honest with you, I'm a really easygoing guy. I don't get wound up. I'm not the violent type. I'm a thinker. I don't, do stupid things and all that sort of stuff. But, sometimes things just get in you and they just annoy you and narc you. And it played on my mind and I was angry about it. And I was just in the bad frame of mind and I snapped. I had a snap. We've all snapped at people. Unfortunately, I snapped at the market and it bit back. And that caused me. So that's kind of what happened. But, it teaches you a lesson. We do these things. If you think, I've been trading Pats now for a little over 3 years. If I think I'm going to turn into an expert trader and never do anything stupid or make a stupid mistake again, I'm probably a bit naive. And it's going to happen. But, every time something goes. So, Trading May, you're a new face. How you doing? Why do you target only 2 points? I scalp something called Pats, just price action trading, and I learned it from a guy called Mac, and I think a lot of us guys do. So I just tend to go for a flat 2 points. So that was my signal bar. We kind of had a leg up and a pullback and a higher low indicating we were going to continue on higher. So that's all I do is just jump in for 2 points. So that was my risk there. So a tick above there and a tick below. So my risk was 3.25 and I just went for 2 points. So there you go. I know everyone trades a bit different, and some people might think, well, why don't you go for more points? But it's kind of just the way I do things. So let me have a look at this. So I'm thinking, depending on how you see this channel, this for me is going to trap short. So I'll tell you what, I probably had this slightly different. So I had this, I think, like from there to there, which kind of fits. We got a break, a lower high, which wasn't going to be pushed down for a new low. We came back and had a go at retested it, and we pushed strongly above the EMA. I didn't like that one, because usually when you pull up, I like a decent pullback, and we had this one. Then we pushed up again and came back for a higher low, and that's the one I took. It looked better on this chart. Now, ordinarily, I don't like taking them too close to that top, but there is enough room to scalp out from that top. So if I get in a tick above there, there's your 2 points. So there's enough room, and it did push up a little higher anyway. So did you take out? I haven't, bud, but the guy I learnt it from, Mac, has been trading price action for about 28 years. And I believe he learnt it from Al Brooks, and sort of kind of adapted his own sort of way and style of doing it. And I trade his style. And if you are interested, I will show you his website. He's absolutely a lovely guy. And one of the unique things about this is to learn this only costs you $125 per year. And it's kind of embarrassingly low, but he's such a genuine nice guy. I'll just show you just in case you're ever interested. That's where I think a lot of us on this sort of stream, a lot of guys that hook up with me sort of trade the same style. But that's it there, basically. That's him there, max price action. Now, there's dozens and dozens of videos on there, but yeah, it's $125 per year. And he's been trading this for 28 years. He's also got a YouTube channel where he's got videos going back 13 years. I'll quickly show you that again if you're interested. But yeah, he's absolutely, he's a really lovely guy. Very genuine, very honesty. You know, doesn't blow things out of proportion, doesn't tell you all about the fancy cars you'd be able to drive. He talks about how long it takes, how difficult it is, how much effort and work you need to put into it.
I don't think I would either.
So he's one of those types that don't, you know, doesn't sugarcoat it. That's it there. That's his channel. But, you know, he's got over nearly 2,500 videos. And if you look at his videos, he's gone going back 12, nearly 13 years. And he puts a video out about 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday. And obviously he's been doing that for donkey's years. So that's what I do. Sure, I watch Thomas Wade. He's got, yeah. I mean, I've got Thomas Wade on. I'm part of his sort of group, so I've got him there. So Thomas Wade's almost identical to Mac. Very, very slightly different. He goes for more points. See, Mac scalps for a point. Thomas Wade goes for either 2 points or 10 ticks, and I tend to go the same way. That was a 2-point trade for me. Well, I got a little bit more there. I got an extra tick in some of them, but yeah, I spent years and years with Al Brooks. Watched the course 8 times. Read all 4 books. I can't trade it for shit. Can you not? At least you're honest, mate. I will say, I've heard people talk about Al Brooks, and he's supposed to be very, very clever, very intelligent, but I think it's kind of a like learning to watch paint dry type of thing. That's the impression I get, and I don't mean that in a nasty way. He's just, I think you tend to sleep on the job a little bit, but yes. I mean, some people are natural teachers. Some people it may be a little bit too complicated how they teach it. You know, trading really can be as difficult or as easy as you want it to be. You know, there are strategies out there in trades which are actually very simple. Strategies on this, the trades, the setups are actually very simple. The difficult part is attaching them to the correct context of the market. And that's where the experience and skill really comes into its own, and it takes time. But, you know, the only indicator we use is the 21-day exponential moving averages, and the rest are just a form of just lines, really. But we just follow the price action. For instance, 2 legs back, there was a trade there, which I would have probably taken. I wouldn't have had that as an overshoot. There was also a higher low, not brilliant, but you've kind of got a failure there, so you're going to be trapping shorts there. So that pushed up and worked. Same with this, a higher low after another push up. But explaining the setups, what we do is relatively straightforward to understand. But as I say, it's applying them to the correct time. It's all about timing, and obviously, you know, the trouble is the market has a canny way or an uncanny way of making you think it's doing what it's not. You know, so actually, I'm going to put that there for the higher low. It wasn't a brilliant signal bar there. It looked much better there. But it is a higher low. I just like the way we had an overshoot. We had 2 pushes down to a new low. We actually bounced off a little bit of support there, and then we kind of retested it again, and then it went straight through the EMA, came back, double bottom there, another push up again, a little pullback before it goes on its merry way. So if you can kind of work out what's going on, you know, you can sort of get in with a trade, and there was one there. As I say the signal bar doesn't look bad. It's only a tick, 1 tick off its close on the high. But it looked better there. It closed there. I don't know what it did there. Yeah, it was more of a stem at the top there. Wilson is putting some great numbers. He is. Do you know the thing about Wilson is I look at some of his trades and thinking I would never take them. But in saying that, I think he's actually discovered his own way of doing it, and it's working. Because I looked at a lot of his trades, Wilson's late, and I'm thinking, I don't know why he's taking them. They're not necessarily pats. But they're working for him. So I think that's the only important thing, I think. I mean, Wilson has been trading all 20 accounts, where I've sort of been trading 10. So it's been more of a grind for me. But I think Wilson's found his what's the word I'm looking for? He's kind of found what suits him. He's moved away a little bit from pats. He trades taking profit very similar to how I started. I didn't take a fixed amount. I just let the market push away from me and try to follow it and try to sort of scratch as much as I can out of it. And that's the way he's doing it. And in all honesty, I did watch him, and I'm thinking, you're going to get caught out soon, I think, because a lot of the trades aren't pats. But he's found his own way of doing things, and it's working. So I think he should continue to do things the way he is, I think so. Let's have a look. Wilson works for a while, and then he doesn't. Yeah, so he's been... Now, obviously, there's a little bit of luck involved in the market. If you take a poor trade, because it works, doesn't necessarily mean it was a good setup. But I have watched a lot of Wilson's trades, and some of them, I'm thinking they're not pats and they don't kind of make sense. But he seems to make a success of it. Now, obviously, you can have a little bit of luck, but I think it's been going on a bit too much to call it luck, I think. So I think he's just found a certain style that works for him. So, you know what they say, if it's not broken, don't try and fix it. So are you waiting for a long entry? At the moment, mate, no, because for me at the moment, I think it may just be ranging. So see, we got this channel up with one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. We had a channeler breaking a new low. This could push up. But this to me looks like it's trapping some longs. So at the moment, I'm just kind of, looking at this. We've had this channel, one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. So we could push up and trap some shorts here, but it's a little bit unclear for me at the moment. So you're a new face, Christian, aren't you? Where are you from, buddy? I like to try and find out where people are from. But yeah, I've just looked on Thomas's. What's it? Someone else has got that has a bit of a range. So for me, I think it's going a bit sideways. So I'm just wondering whether we'll come down a bit here. There is a failure there. But we've already had a break and a new low. So if we get a channel up and two attempts to go lower, it could trap the shorts and push up. So, I mean, it's giving a kind of a bearish signal, but with the two attempts to go lower after this channel, there you go, see? It's giving a bearish signal, but I think it's a bit of a trap because of the two attempts to go lower. And we've got three little bottoms here, and it seems to be failing. So that is going to push above there and stop out there, and then push above there and stop out that. So I think now this is probably going to go up to the top. Or it might just take out this liquidity and then come down. You took it on a sim, did you? Yeah, I think you could. Looks like it was bottom in there, so this would be a penguin style trade. So he's got a channel up with a break, and there's been one attempt to go lower and a second attempt, and this second attempt hasn't got as far, which tells me it's weak. And there's also three little bounces there, one slightly deeper, and it's kind of like an inverse head and shoulders, if you like. There's the head, there's the shoulders. We've come down, so you probably expect that to go up. There's going to be liquidity there and there, so it's taking that out. So I think it's probably heading towards this area here, maybe higher. What are the two other charts on the left? Okay, so these two charts are exactly the same. The only slight difference is if you go into data here, you go into my data series and look where it says break end of day. I've got that selected On the other two charts, I've deselected it. And what that does, it gives a slight different variation in the bars. Now, if you look here on the big chart, and then you look at the top chart, if you see this area here, you've got a bearish bar here. It's not far off a bearish pin bar. It's different here. And same with this one, it's different. So they're all slightly different. So the theory is, if I'm moving up in a channel and we get two legs back and I'm looking for a setup and the signal bar is a bit poor, I can have a quick glance on the other two and see if there's a better signal bar. So it just aids you getting a better setup and not missing out on a move. Okay, so leg down, leg down. This was just pushing up, a bit of a sort of fake pushing up, taking out bits of liquidity and now coming down. So I think this is probably a range at the moment. So the next area I would say is probably here and here. So I expect this to come down below there and below there, taking out liquidity. So it is starting to look very rangy now. So there and there. So unless we sort of level off here. But after that push, I'd expect a bit of pullback. But I think it's likely. If it gets down to there, it may take out some liquidity there. And then I think the next part is probably here because it is kind of looking sideways. So yeah, so if you look at the difference here, if I click this data series in that top one, that break at end of day, I haven't selected, and that makes a slight different variation in the signal bars. And the theory is you get a better chance of getting a better signal bar, and I use exactly the same. So if I put a sell order here, it pops up on all three charts, and if and whatever is looking the best chart, the best signal bar, I just drag it in place. Order canceled. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. What about the third chart? Yeah, the same again. A slight different variation. If you change, so if I go into the data series here, I've got down days to load. So I'm loading 3 days there, and this one is slightly different. So I've loaded 7 days there. And when you reload historic data, same again, just slight different variations. You know, if you look at this area here, it's slightly different from this area here. And same here as well. So they're all very slightly different. So it just gives me 3 cracks of the whip, if you like. So there was that setup there. So it looked better on there than it did here. So I took it on there. But what I like, there's going to be traders thinking this is a bigger channel coming down, and they're going to see 2 pushes up, and they're quite likely going to be looking for shorts, and we've trapped them there. So we're going to leg down 2 attempts to go higher. At the moment, we are still making lower highs. So I think this is probably still going to come down. So let's call this a higher low. So I purchased that Guardian Angel Trader. If anybody doesn't know about it, it's a piece of software. Now, I paid £295 for it. It's about 349 euros. I think it's $399. It's a piece of software you download and you install it. And what it does is it puts fail-safes in your trading. So, for instance, you can set a max daily loss where it automatically liquidates you. You can set max trading losses. So if you say 2 trades a day, if you take 2 losses a day, when I select here, these areas here are all grayed out. So it's impossible for you to take a trade. So if you have any problems, if you have any weaknesses, or, you know, something goes wrong and you're in the right frame of, you're in the wrong frame of mind, which happened to me yesterday, it's a fail safe. You can also set parameters, trading hours. So I can say UK time, I can only trade between the hours of 2:30 and 5:30. which is when mainstream market is open. That's when I think the trade in it is best. Tick offset, basically. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the same. That's exactly the same. Yeah. They call it a tick offset because what you'll find is if you look at the ticks here, that's saying around late 80s, that's 400s, that's 1700s. So there's I don't know why they call it a tick offset, but it's supposed to make a slight difference. If you look at the bars there, they're slightly different from there and slightly different from there, but it just gives you a better setup, or a chance at a better setup, shall we say. Fuse, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome. Yeah, it is. It's like anything. When you don't know it, you've never done it. It is a little bit confusing. Granted, for sure. Yeah, but what I'll do quickly is, you won't mind this. This is. I'll just drag this in quickly. This is. Now Taylor did this, but it comes originally from whoever that is. Apparently she's been trading this for years, but that's what it is. So I'll leave that on there for a second. I did a couple of days ago. So you can look back later and just freeze it. And if I go up to where it says various, there's a second bit. It shows you break it under day to change the days. And then there's kind of examples of the slight difference. You can see it there, slightly different. And I'll go down to there. There's a little bit more there. Pros and cons. Yeah, it's no magic bullet, but it does give you extra chances of... Because I kept seeing people on Thomas Wade's group with much better setups, and they took trades, and I'm thinking, why is my bar so different? And they kept saying, oh, that's on my second chart. So that's kind of how I found what's going on here. Okay, so we got some medium impact news, which is causing that little spike. Yeah. That's interesting. Leg and a leg. That's actually caused way more of a spike than I would have expected for medium impact news. Well, that has, to be honest with you, Mac doesn't even bother with medium impact news. So I don't think I've ever seen medium impact news have that much of a spike. In all fairness, if you drag it out and you didn't know it was there, it probably doesn't even really look like it is, to be honest with you. But that ATR still in the threes, kind of like that, down to around about 2 or a little bit less. So push up. Now are we going to get a second push up, or is there something larger there? Let's have a look. There may be something larger, but it's a bit too early there. So push up and bounce here, a few bounces here, and then off we go. So I'm certainly not thinking about going short here at the moment, because I think there's a good chance of a slightly larger move up. So let's just get rid of that. Now we are quite rangy here, but I'm not thinking about shorting here. Not that it won't come down and maybe test this area, but I have a feeling with that initial push up and kind of a bounce back and a couple of more attempts to go lower and struggling to get down here, this may continue on up a bit. So I'm not thinking about shorts at the moment. And that bearish bar there that's triggered, I think that's likely to get stopped out, because there is going to be people shorting that there for sure. Let's see if it holds. I think there's easy liquidity there for a starter, so I'll be amazed if it doesn't push up. It hasn't broken those highs. Interesting. But I think this will go sideways, maybe down here a bit, and quite possibly up again. Yeah, absolutely, makes absolutely. I'd say it's give me an extra 50% in trades for sure. Yeah, because I kept seeing other traders. I was seeing a Taylor with a lovely setup bar, and I'm thinking, why is everybody picking trades up when I'm not? And I found out because it's their extra chart. Some have just got one extra chart, but a couple of them have got two. So I thought I'd have a go with it. I got the space, so I thought I'd have a go with the two. These two, the top and bottom, are actually just side by side on a spare chart. So I thought, we'll give it a go. That one triggered and it never got stopped out. So when we get a second one there, it's probably likely going to come down here. So let's see if it holds or this comes back into a range. So I'm going to ditch that and just call that like that. Call it an overshoot, whatever you want. So overshoot up to the top. So a leg and a leg, a leg. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get another leg up. Or are we going to come down some more? Who knows? Okay, this thing's coming down. John, is there any news right now? Market went crazy. Yeah, medium impact news, John. It doesn't usually do that, to be honest with you, mate. I think that's probably the spikiest. I mean, if you look at it now, you probably even say, well, maybe it's not. But when you're seeing it in real time, it was a little bit spiky. I'll give you that. So yeah, perhaps it's I mean, it's medium impact news. We don't often see the big spikes, but it definitely did something. So you still using GAT, are you, John? I purchased it last night. I want it as a fail-safe, so I had an email this morning and sent over my machine user ID and some of the folder or some of the file I needed to. So hopefully later today I should get an email or a link, I'm assuming, to download the software so I can put it into action ready for Monday. So on Facebook, good for to be honest with you, we can all have those moment of weaknesses sometimes. Now, in all honesty, 4 months, I've had a solid 4 months. It's been slow, but I haven't had that urge to trade, and just trading angry yesterday. I rarely get like that. I'm pretty placid and I'm quite level-headed, but you know when sometimes something just gets in your head and you find it hard to deal with. So in all honesty, I probably shouldn't have traded yesterday, but because things have been so smooth, but it does remind you, you've always got to be on your guard, and you've always got to be on your game. So I thought if I put something into place, should the worst happen, say maximum daily loss $600 or something, and or 2 losses or somewhere along the lines, and lock that in so I can't change it. At least that way, if the worst happens, I have got a certain level of protection. I am going to make a video about it as well, because there's very little out there. So I'm going to play around with it for a week, and I'm going to make a video, and just for anybody who's unaware of it or doesn't know, the features, I'll make a quick video. I tend to not make videos really, just stream. YouTube bit, just, I don't know, it doesn't really interest me as such. Some people make videos, but if this helps people, then it's worth doing. Because I hear very, very few people talking about it until I mentioned it. And I was surprised there was about 3 other traders. I know you use it, and Dean uses it here, and Speedy uses it, but there's quite a few people using it. So I think perhaps we need to spread the word a little bit, because there's nothing more frustrating than losing that control. Not that I do. That's the first time I've had any problems with it in 4 months, which found it even hard to swallow. Okay, so we had this channel down in a break, unfortunately. Just looking at that small chart, no signal bar there. There was a signal bar there, but it's only really a first entry, and ideally we would have wanted a lower high there, and we didn't get nothing. So both those charts, the bearish bar looked pretty good, but on this one, it's a bullish bar. So there's a higher low there off this. I've noticed somebody on on Thomas Wade's Facebook group was taking it. I haven't, because as we broke above this, I wouldn't be shocked if we came down below it. Often, as we know, when we're ranging, sometimes if we get a breakout here, we get the opposite down here, so you don't know whether it's going to, maybe there's a slightly wider channel there, in which case that higher low could trigger, create a second entry short and come down the bottom. So that was wasn't one I was interested in. Yeah, so it's weird, really. It just dawned on me yesterday. What's the point in having 20? So if you've got 20 accounts and you're only trading 10 at a time, it's kind of counterproductive, really, isn't it? The whole idea of getting 20 accounts, the more accounts you can trade more and theoretically make more money. But if I'm only ever trading 10, now the fact that I've lost 10 shouldn't make a difference in the profits I'm making. Because if I'd have taken this one on the one I've taken it now, I'd swap over to the other ones, the other 10, and trade there. But instead of doing that, I'm just taking them on this again. So it's not really going to make any difference from a financial point of view. So I think the only real benefit to having 20 accounts is trading all of them. And I know Wilson does. I know Trades by Matt does. And there's probably a couple of others that trade them all. So the fact that I've lost those shouldn't actually make a difference financially if I'm only ever trading the 10 accounts. But I will say, losing those 10 accounts, I've actually fully recovered. Whereas losing accounts, a year or two ago, I could feel it a week later. So you kind of do toughen up. I suppose it's anything. If you do something enough, sooner or later you start to become immune to it to a degree. I'm pretty sure if I went into the gym today and started busting out loads of heavy weights, I'd wake up tomorrow feeling like I've died and gone to hell. But if you continue to do it, your body has a way of adapting. So I definitely feel like my mind is toughened up and it doesn't take it so hard. Initially I did. I felt like dropping to my knees and crying, but I didn't. I just did the sensible thing and headed for the bottle. So, I feel all right today. So I'm going to do a shorter day today as well, I think. I kind of like, especially after yesterday, it's probably a good idea to go into the weekend in the green because that will just keep my mind nice and balanced. Okay, I'll tell you what, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. It's been really muggy here lately, so I'm just going to get myself a cold drink and a cup of tea. So I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. What are we doing? So, no argument there. We are ranging. So, leg, 2 legs down, leg. Let's have a look. Eternal Lance. It's been a long time. It certainly is. How are you doing, my friend? Diddly Martin, how you doing, my mate? Happy to see you. Green accounts. Yeah, it does help, doesn't it? It certainly does, mate. It certainly does. In fact, what I think I'm going to do is just reduce my contract size down to 1 contract, I think, now. Because it would be a shame to take a loss. So just, it's a sensible thing to do, I think. I'm just going to take it down to 1 contract. Just in case I take something else. I'm quite happy not to take anything. I think coming back from yesterday with a nice green trade, I got a little bit of slippage there, but it went in my favour, so I ended up with $2,070. So that is, in my accounts, a nice bit of a bump. So that certainly is good after yesterday. So yeah, if anybody doesn't know, I had there was a bit of a family row with a family friend, and it just played on my mind and it stuck in my head, and I was really annoyed and angry about it, and I just, sometimes you get things happen and I just could not seem to shake the feeling. It was just bugging me. And I was on a phone call about 30 minutes before the markets officially opened, and I was just looking. I'll show you where it was. I was looking, it was this bit here. I'd had a channel going up there, and there was like a second entry long. It was that one there. So I was thinking we're ranging, we're likely to come up to the top. So we had this channel with a break. There was kind of 2 legs back, and I kind of liked that one, but it was up here then. So I took this one because I thought we're probably likely going up here, and it triggered, came down and stopped me out. I was angry. What I did is I put my stop down here because that was the original one I wanted. I took it here, and it ended up losing me $375 times 10. And it just flipping angered me, and I just lashed out. We all do it sometimes. I just lashed out, and unfortunately, I happened to lash out at the market, and it lashed back and said, I'm not having none of it. So, unfortunately, it stung me. And then it did. I just thought, I ain't having this, and I jumped straight back in. I thought, in fact, we started to go down then. We started hitting a level, so I went short, and then it went back up. And I just jumped in. I doubled my contract size. And it just, I don't know, you know the story. You've all been there. But yeah, Mo, how you doing, my friend? It has been a long time. How are you? How's your trading journey lately? So leg up sideways, and this to me looks like probably a push, probably a break, and probably a wider channel. It could come back in this, but if you look at the bottoms, they are sort of more or less slowly working up. I'll tell you what, Martin, you should write, mate. You should. You've really got away with words. You're a natural writer, you are, bud. Whenever you write something, it sounds like I've read it out of some sort of poetry book or some sort of a skilled writer. You got a natural knack for words. In fact, you messaged me maybe about 7 or 8 months ago or something. I'd had another bad day. And what you messaged me sounded that good. I actually printed it out. Unless you're stealing all these words all these words from a book. But no, you've definitely got a knack for the written word, mate. That's for sure. So this to me looks like it's now making a dash for the top side. Thomas Wade, I am not so excited to sell now since we exceeded the initial measured move. So I think there's certainly a reasonable chance we could. Oh, she wouldn't do that. We could make a second leg up. We've had a big drop lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if we have a day or so recover. So we've had a leg down and a leg down. We more or less hit the same place. We've got a leg up. I wouldn't be surprised if we make another leg up. And we've kind of gone up, down and up, which in itself is two kind of legs, isn't it? Yeah. So I would doubt very much if we'll get to the top in this thin channel here. I would probably expect it to break at some point and then have a wider channel. Now, there is a possibility this could fail and come in, but I think it's probably gone a bit too far for that because we do still have a sort of a bullish imbalance going on there. So I'd like to see, well, a break here we're obviously getting, but I'd like to see, you know, a couple of legs and then hopefully something a little bit wider. So do you have any idea or experience about coding a strategy for an interest trader? Not a clue, my friend. I haven't got a clue. I'm better with hardware I am than software. I can build a computer and I'm okay, but when it comes to that sort of stuff, it's a little bit alien to me. It's something I've never really done. Unless anybody else knows out there. But yeah, I believe you can. I think you can even write your own indicators, can't you, in Ninja Trader? Okay, maybe this is failing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can code your own auto strategies. There are things you can do. I don't know where there's anything available on the web that you can sort of, you know, any information there that you can look into. Quite likely there is. So I am wondering whether there may be just a small overshoot there. Possible. There may be a little overshoot there. I don't know really. It kind of fits quite nice that, but there may be a small and I've taken trades and lost trades because of as small an overshoot of that. I lost a trade once and Max said to me there's a small overshoot. I'm not kidding you, it was the size of that. So it can happen. So if there's an overshoot, push up new high and a reversal, this looks about as a reversal-ish as you can get. So no argument, this has come straight back into the channel. So just for now, I'm going to remove that and I'm going to take this up to there, I think. Yeah, let's leave it there a minute. Wow, that's a drop and a half, isn't it? I've got no problem with stretching that out a bit now. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 points straight down within a few minutes, couple of minutes. So that one obviously clearly failed. No argument there. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, it's a fair old size drop, that pretty quick, isn't it? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's definitely 25 points. Okay, channel break. 1, 2 pushes down to a new low. So I don't know what's going on here. I'm certainly not thinking about going along just yet. I mean, that's a strong move, isn't it? We could come down a bit lower there. I got no idea. It's funny. Marco's just put something on there. 30 points in 5. I would just mention that. Come down 25 point. Max says 15 years ago you got 20 to 30 points throughout a whole day. Weird, isn't it? It is a quick move, that. If you go from here, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's nearly 30, and that extra is definitely a good 30 points, that is. And it's a very quick move as well, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so we've had a break in new low. We've now pushed up, and hopefully we may hold on top of that. So that might be a better option to go long. Trouble is, there is a possibility that I'm just not sure what's going on here. Whether we're going to go a bit sideways. So it is a higher low, but it's 15 ticks, and it's right into the EMA. Just wondering whether we're going to go a little bit sideways here. It's definitely a little bit congested, so it's hard to say. There may be. I mean, that is a big move down. I'm not sure what caused that, but something could have done. I mean, in such a short space of time, so there is a possibility that there may be something larger there. So going along into this at the moment is just risky. That one never triggered anyway, but going long for me just isn't the right thing just at the moment. I want to kind of give it, because after that big move, that surprised me. I thought that was going to break and push up, but then just a really sharp. So we've got a leg down with a break and a new low. This could be a penguin style trade. We may make one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, in which case then down. So I'm going to get rid of this just for a minute. So channel break, new low. First attempt to go higher. So we got a leg up. See what happens here. If we get another leg up, this thing could fail and come down some more. 30 points in 8 minutes. Nice move. Yeah, it was very quick, wasn't it? Mac loves these channels. Breaks. New extreme, lower high, higher low before getting back to the mate. Yeah. I'm just, because it's such a strong move and such a big move down, I do wonder whether it's going to continue down. So I like to give it a chance to. I tend to not pick tops and bottoms. The trouble is with this one, it's in between here and here, so it's a little bit in sort of no man's land. It could see after we've had a break, we could get one leg down and a second leg down and come to here. So that for me is a bit in no man's land. There is a higher low, but it's about 15 ticks and it's got a stem on it. And you can clearly see now we are fitted in that sideways gap that I've sort of done. So it never triggered anyway. But after that big move down, I'd be concerned that this thing may come down some more. It's just not giving us much, really, is it? I thought that was going to take off. And then all of a sudden, woof, down it came. So we're definitely going sideways just at the moment. I mean, for instance, if this thing's going to go up, it kind of likes to pick off liquidity. I can't see any liquidity there. Having said that, on this chart here, there is a couple of bearish bars. There isn't really there. There's the big one, but we're right at the bottom. So short in that one, I think is but it's clearly congested at the moment. So just gonna have to sit tight at the moment. There is a fairly. I just don't like that bar at the moment. Let's move that down a bit. So channel down, break, new low. First attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. Let's see what happens. So that's pushed up and come back within this range. So 1, 2 attempt. Let's see if it goes again. Unfortunately, there's no real setup there. There isn't on here. It looks even more congested on this little chart here. The bottom one and the one to the left isn't much better. Couldn't really take that there. It's a shit bar. It's gone right into the top and come back. So there's going along there isn't ideal. Sorry, going along into that isn't ideal. So yeah, there isn't really any long setups there if you wanted to take any. I tend to not pick bottoms. I'm not very successful at it, to be honest with you. And this one is in the middle of nowhere, so that one for me isn't an ideal bar to take, really. Because sometimes when you have a break, you will get one leg and two legs down, and it could have come down to here. And there isn't really a higher low. There is there, but there's nothing you can do with that. It doesn't trigger anyway. It drops straight down. There is a higher low there, but it's clearly stacked. It's gone up the top and created a stem, so it's a tick or two off a doji. It's just a bit unclear, that. And then it goes up. So no way in, even if you wanted to, really. So let's see where this goes. We know we got some support there. Yeah, so there was that little spike there. In all fairness, though, it's not the type. If you didn't know there was news there, you wouldn't really know. But it did get a little bit of volatility there just for a minute. It was spiking. We had a little sort of spike up and down, or down and up, wherever it was, and then a slightly bigger bar and another one, and then things calmed down. So it doesn't often do a lot medium impact news, but it's certainly useful to be aware of it. I do have it on my chart, and it's certainly good to be aware of it. Yeah, see, I've got noticed that bar there. There's a guy on here, Thomas Wade, who's got a much better bar. That one there, but he took that one, which is quite. Now I don't know what he trades, but it's kind of already gone, really, isn't it? So, but he's doing well there. But that's where his order was. So, if you were going to take it, you'd think that would be the place, wouldn't you? Not up here, but Thomas never took anything. There was nothing here really. There was a higher low, but that bar was just a bit naff. On this chart, there was no significant shorts in there, which I would have thought stopped. But this one did look a little better. There was one there. There was kind of two legs up. This channel down a break. No, you can clearly see it. One little leg and a second leg and a bearish bar. And that did come down to the bottom, which obviously depending on where you see it, you may consider that the bottom or that. I don't know, but let's go with that. I like to try and get out. If I'm going to take a short there, I like to try and get out at the bottom of the lowest body, which is this one, because sometimes it'll usually always break that, but not necessarily the bottom. And it kind of did, but it was that big, really. Well, in relation to that bit of range, there's nothing there. You'd have had to push through to get a point. You would have made a point, but it was kind of screwed to pooch through. The move was already over. It was a second entry short. Well, certainly a visual second entry, clearly two legs. It's just a little bit stacked up there. Doesn't actually look as bad there. In fact, that was probably the best chart of them all, thinking about it. That didn't, in fact, I'll go as far as to say that Eve didn't even really look rangy, so he had a leg up. And that was actually a nice bar. It was a failure as well, so you may trap some shorts there, and it did work, but I don't know. This looked a bit more rangy. This didn't so much. This was kind of broken up more into sort of little moves as opposed to just up, down, up, down, up, down. But there you go. It's one of those things, isn't it? But this just looked like such a significant move down that I was thinking maybe that we get a wider channel. We still possibly could. It actually kind of doesn't fit that bad. So there is a possibility this thing could come down some more, but it's just too early, really. I think crypto's on the pump a bit. Bought £1,000 worth the other day. What's it doing now? Bitcoin it's over 67,000, so that's it. It's up 5% in the day, so that's good. I bought a little bit more ADA. That's up just under 5%. I bought a little bit of, well, I bought a few £100 worth of Render. I'm hearing lots of good things about Render. It's number 33 in the crypto chart, man. That's up 3% a day. I bought £150 of Gala earlier. Good things about Gala. What's that? 80 something. Where is it? That's up 5%. Oh, that's good. That's good. So everything's green today. Hopefully, Bitcoin might have a decent push. I have finished trading Apex today and now switched on to Bullnox, both rhythmic. The bars and price are not the same. Strange, isn't it? After reload seems very odd. I think it's possibly down to that it's simulated data, although it is data. It's it is simulated based on live, so whether that makes a difference or not, but it doesn't make you feel at ease, really, does it? I did want to have a go at Bollocks and Top Step just to give them a try, just in case anything ever happens with Apex in the future. It's nice to know how these companies work. I've only ever been using Apex for the last sort of 14, 16, 18 months, so I think it'd be useful to just try out somebody else. That was the plan, and things changed yesterday, so it didn't quite work that way. So we got 2 pushes up here and a second entry short. Trouble is the bar's bloody massive. 17 ticks. So a little bit of sideways there. One attempt to go higher, 2 legs back. Second attempt to go higher. This I think this may fail and push down. So I wonder if there is a larger channel there. Not quite how I expected it. Trouble is, push up, we could have 2 bounces and up again, so this thing could still go up. Yeah, it's a bit early, really. It is. A lot of this is quite choppy. It is readable, but it's still quite choppy. So we've had a channel that we could make 2 attempts to go lower and a push up. So I'm just staying out of this at the moment. That bar was massive, to be honest with you. I think it probably made 2 points. Yeah, it went down 2 points, 2 3/4. So you would have got 2 points out of that, but it's massive. Wow, that's more interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just still unsure about what's going on here. So I'm leaving that. We could have a leg, break and a leg. I don't know. I'm just sitting tight at the minute because I'm a bit unsure about what's going on. We could go a little bit sideways again, so I don't really want to go short there. If we are going sideways, there's some support there. It is working, but it's just I'm just a bit unsure what's going on here. So if I go short there and we're finding a bottom there, so I'm not saying we're going to, but if I'm not sure what's going on, I'm just sitting tight at the moment. It is working. Yeah, Thomas Wade said too congested here, so excuse me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it's a bit congested here, so that did work. That one did work, but look at it. It is looking a little bit congested, isn't it? So probably best just sit tight here and let it sort itself out. It could sting you. That one I was looking at, but it did go down a bit. You'd have probably got 1.5 at it, but it is a bit sideways. So if you want to tick below there, 2 points, you may not have got it. You probably wouldn't have done. So rightly so. It's actually quite choppy. It is readable. You know, you can see these legs, but it is pretty choppy. There's nothing worth shorting at the top or bottom, really. Nothing you could go along there. There, same again. It's off the bottom a little bit. That one, channel break, new low, maybe a high low worth going, but that one, but nothing here, nothing here. Shorting that is risky because you're just off the tops, and a lot of the times you'll have a break and a push up. So not a hell of a lot of trades, really. That one I took the failure. I kind of like that because I thought we had there's going to be traders thinking we had a bigger channel. It looked a bit better on a second, but there's going to be traders there. In fact, Thomas Wade had it there originally. That 2 legs up, they're going to be looking to go short there, coming down after we've had a break and a new low. But for me, he had it like this, then he changed it, and then he put it back. For me, that's a spike and channel. That's fitting really nice there. We've got a break, a lower high, and a push down to a new low, and a retest. So that for me is likely going to get back up to this area. So I thought that was worth taking there. It looked better on my second chart, the top left. But yeah, this is it's just up, down, up, down, up, down. So yeah. So I'm going to finish early as well today, folks. After yesterday, it did shake me a little bit, although I feel perfectly fine. You do get over these things quicker, and I'm up a nice $2,000 on my 10 accounts. So I am going to finish early today. I definitely want to go into the weekend and relax, and nothing better to do it on a nice green day. So. So, yeah, I mean, it is chopping up and down. You're welcome, Chris. It is going sideways and chopping up and down. So, there we go. So, that's it for today, folks. Quick hour and a half today, short day. After yesterday, it did shake me up a little bit, but nice start anyway. It's nice. I think it's important after you've had a rough time to have a nice green day, and I think that puts you in the right frame of mind, and that'll help me settle even more. Now, I'm going to get this emailed link to this Guardian Angel trader. The more I talk about it, the more I realise there are quite a few people out there that use it. But there's very little in the way of videos, how to use it, how it works, what it does. I wish they'd make a bit more. They may, bring in a few more customers. But there is a little video I've seen, but nothing else really. I know Nutty did a little video just what it did, but that was 8 or 9 months ago, and there has been some updates and some improvements since then. So I should get that link later, and I can have a play around with it over the weekend, and that will just give me that fail safe just in case the worst happens. And then sometime next week I will make just a short video. Call that one as right, you've deleted it. So I will make a quick video. And if anybody else is interested in it, then I think it's always good to have that little protection. We always know sometimes. Sorry about that. We always know that if sometimes things can go wrong. You're not in the right frame of mind. You get a little bit hasty, and it frustrates you. But there you go. So I'm going to have a play around with it over the weekend, and I will make a quick video sometime later in the week when I've had a play around with it, and at least that way, if anyone's interested, hopefully it may help you out. But there you go. So this 80% off finishes at the last day of the month, which I believe is Wednesday. And then I don't know what we have. So, and that offer as well finishes. the 150, 200, and 300k that's currently $40.85 lifetime fee. So it all finishes on there. I don't know what new offer we'll have, but my code's up there, UKFT, where you'll get the best current rates on evaluations and so on. So it's there if you need it. If you've used it before, it's appreciated. So look, I'm going to go and enjoy my nice green day and have a relaxing weekend. So best of luck, guys. I hope you get a setup today. But it's always nice to go into the weekend green, isn't it? It's important on a Friday, I think. So have a great weekend. Stay safe. And I'll be back on Monday and we'll do it all again. Okay, so have a great weekend. Bye for now.